Hello again, my Teaserking family. Hopefully the mic is better. I will wait a minute or so till everybody gets back. Again, I don't control that. That's just a YouTube thing. I didn't touch my mic. I don't touch it now. I do get my preview that says, "Hi, I'm the Teaser King," and it definitely sounded okay, so I'm assuming we're good. Okay. So let's get back. Okay, thank you, Greg and John. Houston, 2.5, 40. Both teams are under. Both teams have 18 defense. Mayfield against Stroud. Probably an under there. You got under teams. Washington, New England. New England, 2.5, 41.5. Howell against Jones. W team against the Z team. Washington, the W team, give up 29. New England, the Z gives up 26. I think Washington's good. I think the over is good in this game. Chicago, New Orleans. We got New Orleans 9.5, 41.5. Chicago's a W team, gives up 27, no defense. New Orleans is an under team. They give up 19. I think they're more of an E team because now that they got Kamara back, they're scoring more, as we saw last week. Oh, yeah, it is crunchy too. Well, it's cooked. It's cooked in its olive oil, so it's really good. It's a good combination. Anyway, so with Kamara back, they're scoring more. So we got New Orleans 9.5, 41.5. I don't know. I mean, Fields is out. The grocery clerk's in. Now that they're seeing him, he looked good against Oakland. Didn't look that good last week. I think New Orleans wins. It's a tough number at 9.5. If you liked it, I would have suggested you could have got it at 8.5 and keep it under 3. Indy and Carolina. Indy's 2.5, 41.5, I think, or 44.5. Indy's an over team. They give up 29. Carolina's a Z team that gives up 28. They just don't score. Vince Young just is not very good. He's not at Alabama. They're not playing old Mississippi State and Mississippi. So he can't adjust to this is pro football, not the SEC. He wasn't that good in the SEC anyway. You've got, again, Minshew again. Minshew's much better here. If Carolina was favored, this would be a lock, but it's not. I think you can go Indy or you can go over in the game. Oakland and the Giants. Oakland 1.5, 37.5. We've got Jones against O'Connell. Now, I don't know why Daniel Jones is in the league. I'm finding that if you go to the Peyton Manning camp, you get drafted because Peyton Manning says how good you are. Well, we tease the games because the odds on winning a 7.5 versus a 1.5, the odds on winning the 1.5 are much, much better. And that's why we tease. Like here, Oakland Giants. Well, maybe the Giants are 1.5, but the Giants at 7.5, you have a higher chance of winning, especially as bad as Oakland is. That's okay. I got 4.5 in Kansas City. So The Giants are an under team. No, the Giants are a Z. Well, they're a Z under. They don't score, but they have a decent defense. They both have 23 defenses. Neither team really scores a lot. It's probably an under. What's O'Connell going to do? What's Jones? You got all new coaches for Oakland. How are they favored? I don't know. The Giants have a chance to win here. Philly, Dallas, Philly 3, 46.5. Prescott against Hurts. Dallas, an A team with the 17 defense. Philly is not as strong defensively without Schwartz. They're a B team with a 22 defense. So they're giving up more points. They're just running a different style. Definitely not as strong as last year. Too many Georgia players on the defense to be giving up 22. You can't really trust Prescott here or Hurts. Neither of them are very good. But, it's Micah Parsons. Philly's defense isn't that good. Hurts will run the Madoff play. So I think this gets over. Hey, Bobby Bo. Daylight saving. I didn't even know. I woke up. I looked at my clock. It said 9 o'clock. I said, okay. I didn't realize it was really 10 o'clock, but whatever. These 2 hours came in nice and easy. Yeah, USC. I think it was at halftime. It was already like it hit 35-35, and you won because you need a field goal to win the game. But that's how it should be. My Kansas lock was dynamite, and Oklahoma State was dynamite. We don't care if LSU lost. We just care that they covered. No, pita and olive oil. Once in a while, I'll eat peanut butter. This is just olive oil. So, why didn't the Alabama player get thrown out of the game for targeting when he knocked the LSU quarterback out? I thought that was ridiculous that it wasn't targeting. Just the nature of the hit, he should have been thrown out. I mean, he hit him under the chin with his helmet, which is targeting. He then landed on him, which is targeting. This is where if the LSU player did it to the Alabama quarterback, he'd have been put in jail for 5 years. But when Alabama does it, they don't call the penalty. What was with the LSU center? You kept double clutching. What is he on drugs? Okay, maybe we need a new center. Let's get that guy out of there. Well, I just finished the leftover General Chow. We're going in the Gold Hall of Fame. With the Economics Hall of Fame. All right. Buffalo, Cincy. Cincy's now 2.5, 50.5. Buffalo, an A team, gives up 17. Cincinnati's an under team, but not anymore. They're now probably a B team with a 21 defense. Allen against Burrow. It's not even close. Burrow is much the better quarterback than Allen, especially big game. Delaying 2.5. I got it in at 1.5. I took Cincy plus 4.5. So Seattle's the free play. They're now getting 12.5. They're a strong road dog. They're healthy. Cincinnati here getting 4.5. Now it's 3.5. I don't buy the revenge for the playoff game. This has nothing to do with revenge. Buffalo cannot revenge Joe Burrow. You cannot revenge Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow can revenge Kansas City, but Allen cannot revenge Joe Burrow. Last but not least, San Diego against my Jets, Jets, minus 3.5, 39.5. San Diego, an over team, gives up 24. The Jets are an under team, give up 18. Herbert against Wilson. I got to go with the Jets. They've covered every week for me. They beat Philadelphia and Buffalo at home. San Diego, biggest choke, worst coach. They'll go for it. It's 4th and 1 at our own 6-yard line. Let's go for it. Because if we make it, we now have 1st and 10 on our own 7. But we don't look at if we don't make it. I love these coaches. Who was it yesterday? 3 times went for it on 4th down and didn't make it. I think it was Oklahoma State and the Oklahoma game. They kept going on 4th down. They kept not making it. My friend Scott, he calls it the worst times. And I'll be going to the club. He'll call. I'm in the middle of class. He calls. Cincy should win. Seattle with 12 is, well, yeah, they're a good road dog. Yeah, I find the coaching to be – I find that they don't know how to coach. They look at the analytics and they go, oh, I guess I'm supposed to do this. They don't have any football sense. You don't have football coaches coaching, especially in the NFL. You got such stupid coaches. Look at the Oakland coach. Guy was a fucking idiot. Instead of drafting Stenson Benson or Hainer, he trades for Garoppolo because he used to coach him at New England 10 years ago, and he sucked there, and he sucked at Frisco, and he sucked every – he got beat out by Brock Purdy, who didn't even get – it was the last draft pick. No offense. I like Brock Purdy, and he's much better than Garoppolo. Why do you want Garoppolo? Are you that stupid of an offensive coach that you can't coach any quarterback? He knows your system. Well, your system sucks. Only Tom Brady could do his system, not yours. But yeah. So to answer Alex's question, I'm glad my volume is working. So we have KC already getting 4.5. They're up 21-7, late second half. You've got to be aware of the defense. So let's break this down. Minnesota, Atlanta. Let's put some scores down here. So Hull against Heineke. I'm going to say 2017 Atlanta. Seattle, Baltimore. 27-24 Seattle. Arizona, Cleveland, I got 17-3. LA, Green Bay, I'm going to go with the 17-14. Only because it's Rippon, who sucks. Again, I don't understand it. He sucked at Boise. How is this the best guy you could come up with? Did you toast the pita, then pour the – no, I pour the olive oil in the pan, heat it up, then put the pita on, then turn it over. So the oil is heating in the pan, and then the pita goes on, soaks it up, turn it over, it's hot, and that's it. You always put your ingredients in first. Like if you're cooking a hamburger, you don't cook it and then put the salt and pepper over it. You mix that in when you make it. Tampa Bay, Houston, 16-14 for Tampa. Washington, New England, 31-27 Washington. New Orleans and the Bears, 24-10 New Orleans. Indy, Carolina, 31-17 Indy. The Giants in Oakland, 13-10 the Giants. Dallas, Philly, 31-30, Philadelphia. Buffalo, Cincy, 27-10. That score sound familiar? Cincinnati, San Diego, and the Jets, 20-14 for the Jets. Jets. Those are your scores. So your quarterbacks today, we've got Hall from BYU against Heineke, Minnesota, Atlanta. I believe it's Hall and Heineke. Seattle, Baltimore, we got Smith against Lamar. Good matchup. Arizona, Cleveland, Tune against Watson. Wide Tune's in the league. It was okay at Houston, really. I just find they keep taking the wrong, like, these guys do shit in college, and here they are in the pro. And you're like, why? And then you see all these great quarterbacks in college, and you just scratch your head. And then they won't draft Hartman in the first. They won't draft Wright. I mean, like, well, these guys are idiots. LA Green Bay, it's ripping against Love. Again, two quarterbacks that are not pros. Tampa and Houston, Mayfield against Stroud. Mayfield and Stroud, definitely not a pro. Washington, New England, Thurston Howell against Jones. Neither of these guys are pro quarterback. Neither of these guys could start on a Pac-10 school. Right? Washington, Oregon, USC, UCLA, they're not starting. Chicago, New Orleans, the grocery clerk against Carr. Carr I like. He was good at Fresno State. The grocery clerk, a Division II quarterback. Really, this is the best you can do. This is scouting. Well, you're stupid enough to have taken Fields, so I don't know. Is there still an XFL? Sanders will be in the NFL. Well, Deion, he's already been in the NFL. The only way the son's going to be in the NFL is if Deion's the coach. So maybe Deion goes and coaches the Bears, and then he drafts his son. That's how that's going to work. I'll tell you, Caleb Williams looked pretty fucking good yesterday, as did Penix. Caleb runs too much, though, for me. Just throw the ball. Indy, Carolina, Minshew against Young. Minshew's much better. He's not bad. He's from Washington State. Young, these Alabama guys just suck. The Giants in Oakland, Daniel Jones sucked at Duke. O'Connell sucked at Purdue. What are they doing in the league? Dallas, Philly, Prescott against Hurts. Prescott's choke. Hurts is okay. Not that good. He wants to run. Well, okay. Again, that's like Lamar. He can't throw. He likes to run. We'll see how good Hurts is today. If he can beat Dallas, we'll give him credit. But we know Prescott will choke today. Allen against Burrow. Again, Burrow, the best in the league. Allen, his forte is I can throw the ball long. Oh, okay. And then San Diego, the Jets. Herbert against Wilson. Herbert's very good. Wilson is not that bad, but it should be Aaron Rodgers. If this is Aaron Rodgers wins. No problemo. So that's what we have today, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Kansas City's pounding Miami. Again, Miami. Tug doesn't show up in a big game against a good defense. His MO, you play a good defense, he does it. They pressure him, and then he's done. And I can imagine that Casey's doing a lot of pressuring, and he just goes back. He can't read it, and he's done. Well, yeah, but there's not really any competition. I mean, Burrow is – Bobby always likes Mahomes better. I like Burrow better, but, yeah, I mean – But as you saw LSU, I mean, you knew Burrow was going to be a superstar the way he handled Alabama and Georgia and all these teams. Burrow is just the best. He's the best under pressure. Even when he goes back to pass, he kind of sidesteps and he throws a little soft pass. He throws the soft passes so the guys can catch it. And he always finds the guy that's wide open. He knows where he's going with the ball. That's the biggest problem, that all these Ohio State and Alabama guys don't have a clue what they're going to do with the ball when they get it. So, I mean, if you look at the league, now there's a couple of buys this week. I mean, there's just Minnesota, Atlanta are just, okay, with Cousins, they were a little better. They were playing better. They've lost Jefferson. They were playing good, amazingly, without Jefferson. But it's just a bad league. So nobody really good. Seattle, Baltimore, okay, you got some good teams there. Arizona, Cleveland. Cleveland's decent. Arizona's terrible. Even with Kyler Murray, they're terrible. And why isn't Kyler Murray starting today? He's apparently healthy. He should be starting, but he's not. So I don't. Why is Tune on your team if he's that bad, and you're not, you're not going to play him, or not, you're going to draft Hartman or Van Dyke or Williams or Bo Nix. What is Tune doing? How do you end up with Tune? These GMs and coaches are so bad. They got Kyler Murray, but he runs. So what happens? They get injured. Look at Lamar. He gets injured. Let's see. LA and Green Bay. LA's okay. Stafford hurt his thumb. What's Green Bay doing with Love? He's terrible. Green Bay is terrible. I mean, they can't score 20 points a game. This guy's ridiculous. The problem is, so he's been there, so they wasted 3 years that they could have been drafting other quarterbacks, or they wasted the first-round pick on Love. They could have got like a superstar defensive player and been better, or picked up a receiver or something, right? And they wasted it on Love. This is what, like the Lions that have that receiver, Williams, who can't even catch the ball. And I love the excuses they do. That, well, he'll learn. No, this is a number one draft pick. He doesn't learn. Your number one draft pick, Jamar Chase, Jefferson, they come in and they get it. You're not waiting for Chase to get good or Jefferson to get good. They're good. That's it. They don't have to learn how to catch, or they're scared to catch. Why would you draft this guy in the first round? You lost 2 Philadelphia picks that went to – you could have had 2 Georgia defensive players, and you wouldn't have the worst defense in the league. You draft a wide receiver who's fast, but he can't catch. So what good is it? Same thing this year. They drafted the running back from Alabama. Why? Well, he looks good. He doesn't look good. What, he got 50 yards against Baltimore when they're playing a zone because they're up 50-0? So he looks good? That's ridiculous. So the Lions will try to sell you anything, right? Oh, no, look at this Williams guy. Better they sign the running back who got 17 touchdowns instead of some wide receiver from Alabama who sucks. I mean, you can say what you want. He sucks. I've seen him a few times. They throw him a ball. He can't catch. He doesn't know how to catch. Like, his hands aren't good. And then on the one touchdown he caught a couple of weeks ago, it was a fluke. The ball just happened to land in his arms. He didn't catch it. He doesn't know how to catch, and he's scared. This is football. It's a total wasted pick, but that's the Lions, right? That's what they do. Anyway, Love sucks. Mayfield and Stroud. Mayfield, Okay, he was good at Oklahoma. Stroud, I don't get that pick. Washington, Howell against Mac Jones. I thought Mac Jones might be okay at Alabama, but not a high draft, not a starter. And Howell, what is he played it? What did he go to the Peyton Manning camp? So everybody's in the league went to the Peyton camp. Like that makes you a superstar. Howell shouldn't be in the league. Chicago, the grocery clerk's better than Fields. And then you've got Derek Carr for New Orleans. I don't mind him. Indy and Carolina, Minshew against Vince Young. Minshew's much better. He went to Washington. I don't mind Minshew. I'm surprised Jacksonville gave up on him and went to Trevor Lawrence. He sucks. But Young, I'm not sold on Young. I wasn't. I mean, he made it close at the end for the LSU game and the other game they lost. But with him quarterbacking, they lost 2 games. The Giants in Oakland. Why is Daniel Jones? What has he proven? He wants to run. What's a running quarterback in pros? And in college, we saw yesterday Caleb Williams and Penix. We saw the LSU Alabama game where it was all running quarterbacks, which you would never see that in an LSU Alabama game. Daniels looks a lot better than he did before. When he came from Arizona State, he sucked. That's why I always give you problems, Bobby, about Daniels. He looked pretty good. He looked that first touchdown wide open. He hit the guy in stride, 50-yard touchdown. Looked really good. Again, the Alabama player should have been thrown out of the game and suspended for the rest of the season for that. That was a cheap hit. I can't believe they let it go. The whole thing was not. I mean, then he landed on him and he hit him in the chin with his helmet. Where's the targeting? Again, we're in a fixed world. We're in a everything's corrupt, and there it was. They weren't going to call it at Alabama, but if the LSU guy touches the Alabama quarterback, it's 15 yards. That guy should have been thrown out. Daniels, he probably broke his jaw. It wouldn't surprise me. He tried coming back in, but it was a shame. You win because of this cheap shot that should have been penalized. How do you not throw the penalty? I mean, it was clear and obvious. And then he lands on him. I mean, any other quarterback, that's personal foul. They don't even throw a flag. No, I think they threw a personal foul flag, but they got their quarterback out. So it's worth the 15 yards. That's the old Oakland Raider Jack Tatum play. We'll clothesline Lynn Swann and get him out of the game. We'll take the penalty. Who cares? That's how football should be played, not this pussy shit that they're playing now. Well, the world's very corrupt. We can see the money's very corrupt, but it's in all avenues of the world, all avenues of business, very, very corrupt. Again, if you have gold, you don't have the corruption because you can't print it. So that's why a lot of people don't like gold. It's harder to be corrupt in it. Quarterbacks run because they don't know how to be a quarterback. I mean, Daniels, this is my knock on him, is he can't throw. He's a good runner. My knock on these runners is they can't throw. Lamar couldn't complete a 20-yard pass, right? That's my point of these guys, is not that they're not athletes and not that they can't run, but I'm looking at a quarterback who can throw the ball. They can't, right? And Hurts is not that accurate, and Josh Allen is not that accurate, and Lamar's not. Trevor Lawrence runs too much. What kills me is they run and then they don't slide. What is that? I mean, if you're going to run, slide, because you can't replace the quarterback. I mean, look at Fields is out, and they got the grocery store clerk playing. How is that? Like, how many games? Well, they actually beat Oakland. That's how bad Oakland is. I mean, this Oakland coach is so bad. You have a grocery store clerk starting, and you're not blitzing the hell out of them. They scored 30 points on you, and you got Max Crosby, and you're not blitzing this guy every play. You don't give him a chance to read the defense. You just blitz him, and he's got to react to it. That's how you beat Lamar. That's what Miami did to Lamar. They blitzed him every time, and they shut him out. He couldn't even complete a pass because he can't read a defense. That's what I get out of it when I watch it. That's my critiques are based on that. But that's what you have here. So, again, where are we at? Jones and O'Connell. Prescott, he throws too many interceptions. I don't know why they think he's so good. You have Will Grier, who's much better, but they're going with Prescott. And how many playoff games are you going to win with Prescott? None. Hurts, okay, but he wants to run too much. And then Allen and Burrow, it's not even close. Burrow's up here and Allen's down here. He's got a good arm, but that doesn't mean anything if you can't read a defense. And then Herbert and Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's not that bad, but we all wanted Aaron Rodgers. I wanted to see the Jets play either Denver or Cincinnati in the championship game. And those would have been the three best teams. Right now, I think Denver is right up there, and I think Cincinnati is right up. Those are the top two teams in the AFC. Denver just beat Kansas City. Cincinnati just beat San Francisco. So please argue with me, but you're wrong. Now that you have a healthy Burrow, you're seeing it. And now that you have a healthy where Russell Wilson, the defense is getting better, and you got Sean Payton, they just beat Kansas City badly. Okay, so those are your best two teams. Vegas won't show you that, and everybody will still think it's Buffalo, it's Philadelphia, it's Dallas. These people that vote with you can't bet emotional. I'm a Dallas fan because Roger Staubach, I don't know, Jerry Rice or whatever. Fine, but it doesn't matter. Grocery clerk is a grocery clerk. Allen's average, that's true. But the grocery clerk, I don't know if he's a good player. They beat Oakland, which doesn't count. And then last week, he got killed against, what was it, New Orleans, Chicago. San Diego beat him 30-13. So how good is he? San Diego doesn't have much. You watch. San Diego won't win tonight or tomorrow night with Zach Wilson. It's the defense. So what you learn is you play the defense. So you look for the defenses. So let's go down. Kansas City 16. They're beating Miami. Baltimore 15. Seattle 20. Pretty even. Cleveland's a 20 defense. Tampa Bay and Houston are both 18 defenses. So you go under there. New Orleans is a 19 defense. Dallas is a 17. Philly's a 22. Pretty even. Buffalo's a 17. I lost my chicken thing. Buffalo's a 17, and Cincy's a 21. But Cincy's got a really strong defense, and then the Jets have an 18 defense. And if you bet the defense, they cause the turnovers. They don't throw the interceptions. When we lose, it's because the quarterback turns the ball over or the coach goes for fourth down like it's an automatic first down play. This is the problem I have with coaches today. The coaches don't understand any of the concepts. This is you punt the ball to gain field position. You have quarterbacks who throw good, who can read coverage, like a Herbert, like Mahomes, like Burrow, because you make the defense defend everything. You don't want a running quarterback because then they just put a couple of safeties on him and the guy tries to run. He gets sacked easily. You can blitz him. He can't read. He can't throw. And when they get into the red zone, he can't make touchdowns. Well, I don't think they understand what punting is. It's field position. I'd rather have the guy at the 10-yard line. I don't think it's they don't. I don't think they understand when they don't make it. I don't think. I was reading something on this, and it's like a change in mentality where if I punt, nobody can question. If I go for it and don't make it, then I'm an idiot. So I'll punt. So that doesn't happen. Versus if I go for it and I make it, look how smart I am. But what they're not taking into consideration is the micro look of the fourth down. It's a big macro look. 52% of the times you go for it on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, you make it. That's not a really good percentage. Not only that, that's against every team. I'm playing San Francisco or Kansas City or Dallas or Philadelphia. I ain't going to make it at all. The only way is the Madoff scheme of Philadelphia where I make it. But otherwise, it's not that they don't like to punt. It's they think they're going to – they don't know how to coach. Like the Lions coach. He just goes for it on 4th and 1 because he thinks he's supposed to. Or it's aggressive. I'm trying to win. You're not trying to win. If you're trying to win, you'd play strategy. And you'd punt it deep and let your defense maybe get a turnover. Maybe they fumble the punt. Maybe they rough the kicker. Maybe they jump off sides. But don't tell me that you're being aggressive to try to win by going for it is the prudent move. It's not. Many times it's not because it's a turnover and it's momentum kill. So that's ridiculous. Everyone like and sub and share the stream to learn about. Okay, Greg and John. I leave that to them. I get a lot of new viewers. If you're smart, you'll listen. And if you know everything and you don't think then they don't listen. But anyway, that's the problem with the coaches now. Now you get your basic coaches like Andy Reid doesn't just go for it. The other thing is like Philadelphia, the only credit I'll give them is at least they know that play works. So when they go 4th and 1 and they get into the push play, the rugby, when they start playing rugby instead of football, they call the play and it works. So I give them that credit. Somebody tried to do that. I think it was LSU yesterday, tried to do that, or, in the Georgia game. They didn't even do it right. The running back got in the way, and they ended up scoring anyway. Well, it was frightful. But the key is to have a play call that you know is going to work. So an example is like in the 70s, I always go to the Oakland Raiders and Dave Casper. It'd be 3rd and 1 at the 1 or the 2 yard. They'd have the ball like near the end zone. It'd be like, let's say 3rd and 2 at the 2. Every time they'd play action pass it. So fake to the running back, and Dave Casper would pretend he's blocking, get up, and go to the soft spot in the area, in the end zone. Nobody within 10 yards of him, and Stabler would just throw a little soft pass, and he'd catch it 100% of the time. So that play was going to work 100% of the time because you had to respect the run, and they could power run you. So I don't mind if you have that play that you're going to run, a nice play action pass. That's fine if that works all the time. Okay. But on 4th and 2 to run it up the middle and hope it works is like making a bet and hoping it wins, right? It's like betting on, I'm going to bet on the Giants. I hope they can beat Oakland. I don't know. I can't bet on Daniel Jones, and I certainly can't bet on O'Connell, and I certainly can't bet on Love, and I can't bet on Howell, and I can't bet on Jones, and I can't bet on Stroud, and I can't bet on Love. There's so many bad quarterbacks. Now it's either under or they turn the ball over so much it goes over on the turnovers. That's what you have. So that's what you're looking to do is, we're betting against you, but that's, if I'm the coach, if it's this formation, I run this play. If it's that formation, I run that play. I very rarely go for it on fourth down, especially unless it's late in the fourth quarter and then I'm down 4 points and I must score a touchdown. There's 3-4 minutes left. Okay, I'm going to go for it. Anything first or second quarter, I am not going for it. Maybe at the opponent's 40-yard line and it's fourth and 1 or 4th and 2. But more than likely, I have a punter who can coffin corner it to the 2-yard line. And I'm gonna bury you back there because my teams are gonna have strong defenses. Then I'll be able to run the ball, and then I add the passing, not the other way around. And my quarterback does not run. My quarterback's Joe Burrow. It's Mahomes. I'm gonna draft Hartman. I'm gonna draft Van Dyke. I'm gonna draft Penix. I'm going to draft Bo Nix. Bo Nix looks really good. Maybe Caleb Williams. Yeah, like bangs through in a week. Why am I getting this message? Anyway, at least it wasn't a scam call. So that's how you build a team. And the best team, Kansas City's got one of the best defenses. Philadelphia had a very strong defense to get to the Super Bowl. Cincinnati. So look at the Kansas City and Cincinnati, Mahomes and Burrows with strong defenses. Philly and the Niners, very strong defenses. If Purdy doesn't get hurt, Frisco is playing Kansas City or Cincinnati in the Super Bowl. But they all have great defenses. This is why I automatically look at these teams, and I look at like Indy's a 29 and Carolina's a 28. So you're asking me, do I think Carolina can win? With the 28 defense, who the hell are they beating? You play Carolina against Oregon, I'll lay 10 points with Oregon. I'll lay 10 points with Washington. I'll take USC as the dog. I'll take Georgia in the game. I'll take Alabama and LSU in the game. I can guarantee you Carolina wouldn't beat any of them, right? Especially with the 28 defense, right? And that's really it. So really that's what you're looking for. That's the Arizona with the 27, Miami with the 26, playing a 16 defense. That's what you have. Let's see, what are we at? 12:30. Let's see. It's 21-14, 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. KC 4th and 1 at the KC 19. I assume they'll punt the ball away. So let's see how a real team does it. Fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, 21-14. Yes, Tommy Townsend punted for 56 yards and no return. Miami 1st and 10 at the Miami 25. That's what you do. You don't. San Diego would have went for it, right? They did against Minnesota. That's what you do. 4th and 1, you punt the ball. Not, well, we could win if you get a first down. There's 2:28. So I got 4.5. I hope it doesn't go to overtime. Or if they do score, that they go for 2. But we will see. Now let's look at any line movements. So Atlanta 3.5, 38.5 hasn't went from 37. Baltimore back down to 5.5. So what the fuck's going on there? Baltimore goes to 6.5, and now they're back to 5.5. Who the hell? What's that's a bunch of bullshit. Cleveland 13.5, 37.5 hasn't moved. Green Bay 3.5, 37.5 went to 4.5. Now back to. See, there's a bunch of algorithm bullshit going on. That's why if you know what you're doing, just stick with your guns. Houston 2.5, 39.5. All right. New England 2.5, 40.5. All right. New Orleans still 9.5, 41.5. Indy 2.5, 44.5. Oakland 1.5, 37.5. Philly 3, 46.5. And Cincinnati 2.5 and 50.5. And San Diego 3. See, this line bothers me. San Diego 3.5, 39.5. Why are they 3.5? Why aren't they 3? Why are they going to 3.5? That makes no sense. Miami 1st and 10 on the we don't know, and there's the 2-minute warning. All right. So as you can see, Miami 14 points against a good defense. This is why when Miami plays a weak defense, you bet them over, like last week. Miami was that was my lock last week. Playing New England. New England with the 25 defense. I played it over 46 down to 40, and they won 31-17. That was my lock. And that's what you're looking for. Hey, G, how are you? Good morning. I did add a couple of games this morning, G. Mostly the Seattle. Now that we know the receivers are all healthy, I was waiting on whatchamacallit, Lockett. He's fine. Metcalf's fine. Walker, they're all fine. So I added Seattle to that. But that's our free play anyway. Miami's winning 21, or KC's winning 21-14 with 2 minutes left. So that should get us off and running. You're welcome. And I added the JETS, Jets. I might have had them already, but I added another one. But, I stayed away from Oakland and the Giants and Indy, Carolina. Maybe you play it over, but do you trust Young to go over? But this could be a day he plays well. He's playing a terrible defense. But now here's where the stats come out. At first, you don't know what's going on. Now it's week 9. So you got 8 weeks, 7 weeks because of injuries of buys. So now you know the teams. Miami's an over. KC is a very strong B team, good defense, much better defense than they've had. So if you notice, KC went from Tyreek Hill and these fast receivers to Mahomes and Kelsey, a little bit more running and much stronger defense. That's why they didn't sign Tyreek Hill. They've went to a defense and they're a much better team now. Minnesota, they lost Cousins, so that hurts them. But they had a decent defense. Atlanta, no offense. Seattle, good team, decent defense. Baltimore is the same. No change there. Arizona, okay, you lose Kyler Murray, but they're still not playing Kyler Murray. He could have played today. Cleveland, Watson's terrible, but a really good defense come out. The Rams are with Stafford, they're not bad. They're in transition. Green Bay's horrible. So we now see they got rid of Rodgers. Here's Love, and we see he sucks. We bet against Green Bay at every opportunity. Tampa, Houston, they're both low-scoring, decent defensive teams, where Indy's a high-scoring, no defensive team. So you can see Indy went over, but that's because Richardson got hurt and Minshew's playing, but they have no defense. And Carolina, we see, has no defense. So we now see, wait a minute, Indy's an over team. They score with no defense. Carolina, no offense and no defense. The Giants, no offense and terrible defense. Oakland, terrible team. Dallas, again, still has Prescott, so they're still in a good Micah Parsons. Phillies, an A-, B+, where they, they give up 22 instead of 17 like last year. Buffalo's a little bit weaker. Cincinnati's still right up there with KC now. And San Diego, same over team that can't, that the defense doesn't show up, the coach doesn't show up. I'm telling you, that coach would have went on 4th and 1 at their own 21. KC just punted the ball 60 yards. And I guarantee you that the San Diego coach would have went for it. He's already done it. He did it against Minnesota, and he did it the following week. Somehow they won, but what is he doing? And it cost us the Kansas City game when he keeps going for 4th down and then gives Kansas City the ball at the 20. We lost to Rutgers under yesterday with Ohio State because Rutgers goes for it at their own 17-yard line. That was late in the game. Ohio State's won, and it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 5 at the 17. And he goes for it. He doesn't get it. And Ohio State scores a late touchdown. I don't understand these college teams where they don't take a knee. I've seen Michigan do that with like 7 seconds left. They know what the spread is, and they're trying to cover the spread, which is ridiculous. So that's the difference. The pros, they don't try to cover the spread. If they're up 10, they give up the touchdown, they get the ball, and they take 3 knees, and the game's over. They don't, like, hand it off like Miami did. Bobby Bo, I don't know. Cousins was out and took the Vikings, who's the back. Bobby Bo, always. Why didn't you ask me, Bobby Bo? I go through the quarterbacks every freaking day. Guy's name is Hall from BYU. Not bad at BYU. If they're playing San Diego State, you might have a chance today. Fortunately, they are playing San Diego State, called Atlanta, and they got Henneke starting, so you might be okay with that. But how do you not check the quarterbacks? Bobby Bo, come on, man. I teach you better than that. Why do you think I go through the quarterback? I have a quarterback list on this. So, again, it's Hall against Henneke, Minnesota, Atlanta. It's Smith and Lamar, Seattle, Baltimore. It's Tune against Watson, Arizona, Cleveland. It's Rippin against Love, LA and Green Bay. It's Mayfield and Stroud, Tampa, Houston. It's Thurston Howell III and Mac Jones. Why didn't you just bet against Mac Jones? Washington, New England. It's the grocery clerk against Carr, Chicago, New Orleans. Minshew and Young, Steve Young for Indy, Carolina. Dan Jones against O'Connell, the Giants in Oakland. Prescott and Hurts, Dallas, Philly. Allen and Burrow, Buffalo, Cincy. Herbert and Zach Wilson, San Diego and the Jets. The one game, Oakland and the Giants, I don't think either team could win a game in the Pac-10. If you put them in the Pac-10 now, in this year, with this schedule, I don't think they could win a game. I don't think they could beat Arizona. They'd probably struggle with Arizona State. Put them in the SEC. Maybe they could beat Old Mississippi State and Auburn. Maybe. So that's it. Let me go through my scores again. Atlanta, 2017. Seattle, 27-24 over Baltimore. Cleveland, 17-3. Green Bay, 17-14. Tampa Bay, 16-14 over Houston. Washington, 31. New England, 27. New Orleans, 24-10 over the Bears. Indy, 31. Carolina, 17. The Giants 13, Oakland 10, Philly 31, Dallas 30, Cincy 27, Buffalo 10, a reverse revenge game, and the Jets 20-14 over San Diego. Those are your things. I don't know. That's the problem with the NFL. It'll take 10 minutes for this Miami KC game to end, unless I get the interception that Tua is going to give me. And end it there. Let's see. So let's wait 1 minute. Anyway, so if we look at college, yes. So I guess that's about it for the pros, unless anybody's got anything. But we'll talk about some of the college games. So my first lock was Texas under against Kansas State. What the fuck happened there? But it was a sound pick. And it looks like KC won 21-14. There we go. Win number 1, KC 21, You had that one, G. I had KC in 4.5. Again, Miami with the strong defense scores 14 points. Kansas City is an under team. This over-under was 50, and I didn't have one thought of playing it over. My only thought on this game, I didn't even put in an over-under. I just said I'll take KC in 4.5 because I know Mahomes is going to have a good day against this shit Miami defense, which he did. So 21-14, it's a W, and we're off and running. You can see in the professor's warp mind how it worked. You can see the little squirrel inside jumping up and down. So there we go. Very good. So our first lock yesterday was Texas under 49. It barely goes over 63. It was 60 at the end of over. If the guy misses the kick, I think we win with 57. Oh, no, it was 55. So we lost, but where did all the scoring? Kansas State lit it up in the fourth quarter. Had I known that, I would have, the spread was 3.5, 2-16 defenses, and they scored 63. I mean, this is there's nothing you can do. Then Ohio State Rutgers was just a regular play. I go under 49, a 16 and a 10. I'm fine at half, and then they throw the pick six. So not only does he throw why isn't he running the ball? This quarterback sucks for Rutgers, but it has to go 90 yards for a touchdown. And then, as I said, at the end, Rutgers goes 4th and 1 at the 17, doesn't get it, and Ohio State then walks in to kill my under with 2 minutes left because Rutgers didn't punt the ball or get the first down. Amazing. The next one was another loser, Notre Dame Clemson. So I started out well early, but then made a big run late. Notre Dame Clemson, 15 defense, 21. Clemson's running backs out. Their quarterback's okay. Notre Dame with a big defense. And Clemson kills them. And another pick six for Hartman. Again, the offensive coordinator of Notre Dame's an idiot, right? You got Hartman, and he's throwing interceptions. Way too many interceptions. So where's this coming from? Clemson just lost to NC State all of a sudden. Oh, they got mad now because people call them losers. I mean, what the fuck is that? Army Air Force. Now I get into my free play, go under 45, I think I had. And the strange part is it does stay under. I thought it'd be Air Force winning 23-0. It's Army winning 23-3. I don't know how that happened, but it was low scoring because they each know each other's offense. So that one made sense. I missed the South Florida Memphis over, goes to 80. UTSA over, North Texas goes to 80. Even Florida Atlantic UAB goes to 80. So those were very explosive overs and overs. South Florida, Memphis, UTSA, North Texas. Then we come around the bend, UCF, Cincinnati goes over. Florida State beats Pitt. Made a lot of sense. Penn State, I added late because it was 11. I wasn't going to play it. It goes to 8.5. Why did it go to 8.5? So you had a ton of money making the line go from 11 to 8.5. I just disassociated with it. I go, I can take Penn State at 8.5 down to 2.5. I play Penn State down to 2.5 just because of the line, and they win the game 50-15. So this is why you look for the line. You get the right line. You ignore that it went from 11 to 8. I look quickly at an injury. Is there an injury? Did Penn State's quarterback get it? Or like, who the fuck's betting Maryland here against Penn State? Are you out of your minds? Maryland had just lost to Illinois and Purdue or somebody. Maryland's playing like shit. So Penn State wins by 50. I lose the Tulane game. They're down laying 10, 13-10 to East Carolina. What the fuck happened there? Did my quarterback get hurt? Maybe that's what happened. I got to check. Louisville rolls over VTech. Louisville beat Duke, beat Notre Dame at home. There they go. Oklahoma State. I give you Oklahoma State. I tell you, they're going to beat Oklahoma, and they beat them. They're the hottest team right now. They're the team I'm going to bet every week out. I find my bitch, Oklahoma State, Kansas. and that's what you jump on. So had Oklahoma State and 12.5, huge lock with Kansas, that wins. So that lock won. Oak State wins the game straight out. Loved it. Again, they're hot, and Oklahoma just lost to Kansas. So you could see when you micro look at the statistics, in the whole picture, Oklahoma gives up 19. But if you looked at Texas scored 30 on them and Kansas scored 38 on them. Well, wait, they really don't have this strong defense that you think they do in conference. Here's Oak State, and Oak State puts up a 27 or 28? I don't have the score in here. So Oak State, I think they win 27-24. So they put up a 27 on them. A lot of fourth downs that didn't make it. Their turnovers. They cost Oklahoma the game by keep going for it. Again, you don't just go for it. There's no consequence. It's a turnover. It excites the other team. This is the part nobody's understanding here. So Oak State wins. That was a lock. Georgia over 49. I get there. Barely get there, but I get there. Georgia's always strong. Missouri's very strong. They're also the flavor of the month with Oak State and Kansas. And Georgia just beat them, but I knew it would be, again, had I played it under, I'd have won. It would have been under 62. It worked. But one of the very few times, because Missouri's a very good offense, that's why I played the game over. And Georgia, when Georgia wants to, they bury you. So Georgia wins. The over wins. They win by 9. They were laying 14.5. So in a teaser, 8.5 wins. But I went over 49 and I got there. So again, with Georgia, Oregon, Cal, what an overplay that was. I have that over 58, 52. At halftime, I'm already over. They put up a 59. They get it all by themselves, but I still got 19 from Cal. You got to be careful with Oregon on these over-unders because they do have the good defense. So you got to be careful playing against Oregon. That's why I loved them against Washington. They were actually the dog, but Bo Nix is just too strong, and they have a very good defense. Shutting down Cal is not easy, as we saw in the USC game. Vegas, New Mexico, another over I had, goes over. They get like 70 points. Again, over and over team comes through. Kansas, Iowa State, my lock, my free play for you guys. Kansas wins 28-21, getting 8.5. The line, my line was Kansas -3. How the hell Iowa State was favored, I have no idea. How it went from 1.5 and people are betting Iowa State to 2.5. What the fuck was that all about? This shows you how stupid the bettors are. Who in their right mind is taking Iowa State in this game? Kansas just beat Oklahoma. I don't know what else do you want to see, unless you're thinking Kansas is going to be flat, but I never thought that. I told you that. I got 8.5. They win the game straight out. And it was easy. It was 14-3. And guess the second touchdown? Yes, the pick six by Rocco Brack, the Iowa State quarterback, who throws one a game. So I got the pick six. I'm 14-0. Then I'm 21-something, and then 28. And then I think Iowa State scores late, and it's 28-21. Never. I love it when I'm getting 8.5, and it's never an issue. Washington, USC. I don't even play the game. It goes to 77. I think it started at 75. And they play a 90-some game. That's what you like in an over. Is it just does exactly. It was 35 all. Was a 70. It's all over because somebody's got to win. So it's got to go to 73, the 77 to 71. You just love that. Just score. SMU Rice goes over. Rice, I told you, a very good team. They played them close. Purdue, Michigan, that was an easy one. Michigan kills them as I knew they would. And I don't remember. I didn't see the final score. They're up like 40-6. And I'm laying 25. So I knew I'm good. LSU, Alabama, we kill the over. That was an easy over. Like I said, Daniels, I didn't realize how accurate of a passer he was. I knew he was a runner. I always thought he ran too much, but he looks pretty damn good. Again, a lot better than 10 of the quarterbacks I named today in the NFL. I'd much rather have Daniels and Bo Nix and Penix and Caleb and da 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 than what you see in this NFL. What the fuck? Who is picking these guys? Oh my god, what a bunch of morons. Fuck. So Alabama, they win the game. I didn't like the cheap shot on the LSU quarterback. I thought the guy should have been thrown out and suspended for a month. That was a very cheap hit. Breaks his jaw. No penalty, no targeting. I thought we were worried about the safety of the quarterback. Now, normally I don't care when it's a light hit, but when you break the guy's jaw, the guy needs to be thrown out because it was a cheap hit, and then he lands on him. The whole thing was cheap. It was minor league, and the guy should be thrown out of football with that kind of bullshit. We used to have Jack Tatum, but they don't allow that anymore. So I was surprised there wasn't a penalty targeting on it. I think there was a personal foul on it, but very, very ridiculous. And the guy knew he was targeting. You could see him on the sideline. He's like, oh, I hope I can stay in. Stanford, Washington State, I go over. I don't understand that game. It was like 10-7 Stanford. I'm like, what? What? How did that happen? Was it raining? I don't know. UCLA Air Force under, I hit. And Oregon State, Colorado, Prime doesn't show up again. Oregon State's not that strong of a defense that they were getting shut out. And then at the end, then you lose 26-19. Like, really? So all you Prime lovers, you better take a second chance when he plays a decent defense. He doesn't show up. And he's got to play Utah. That'll be another shutout. So overall, very good. Hit the locks very good. Kansas, Oak State. You just stick with the strong teams. I'll look at next week while I'm watching this week. Well, I'll go to the pool when we're done here. Now that it's only 12:49, even though my stove says 1:50, it's 12:50. So that's what you have. Again, right now you want to bet the coach. So I'm betting Coach Pete today, the quarterback, the defense, and you bet against I'm betting against Love. If I had Stafford, that would have been the lock. But I don't know that they'd be 3-point favorites if Stafford was playing. But I can't bet on Rippon, unfortunately. Maybe it's an under game, but I don't even know that. I don't know Rippon. I know he was terrible at Boise. So, again, let's draft him. He sucks at Boise. He must be good in the NFL then. So it's such a bad league. There's so many bad quarterbacks and so many that don't even belong in the league. It's just really ridiculous. And there's so many coaches that don't belong. I don't even know where they hire a coach. I don't know. Like the Giants hired the Buffalo offensive coordinator. Why? Is he a good coach? Doesn't look like a good coach. Looks like a shitty coach. And that's what these guys do. I mean, where did the San Diego coach come? Where did the Miami coach come from? None of these guys know how to coach. The San Diego coach should have been fired last year for blowing the Jacksonville game. And all he does is go for fourth down. He should have been fired when they got a 4-point lead at Minnie, and he goes at his own 25, 4th and 1, goes for it and doesn't get it. And Minnie's got the ball at the 25 and a touchdown, wins it. What are you fucking doing? And you can see his own team are looking at him like he's out of his mind. What did Kansas City do today? They didn't go for it 4th and 1. They punted the ball, a 60-yard punt, and they win the game. That's what you're supposed to do. You can punt the ball. It's okay. And you can play defense. So the key is having a good defense and punting the ball. Just because it's 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, the odds on you making it when you really need it are probably like 2%. So again, the 52% of you making it is when we're on the field and against whom. They don't say. They're all bullshit. You can't even are the stats even real? I mean, who knows? And then it's who are they against? Yeah, KC won the game. Yeah, I got that, Bobby. Uh, Bobby Bo, the Yankees need a new batting coach. Um, Bo Jackson was a great running back. Bo Jackson should never have played baseball. I don't know what he was doing. Did it hurt that Cincinnati play when he pulled his hip out of the joint? Maybe he was probably tired. It's like Otani playing right field and pitching. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Either you're a pitcher or you're an outfielder. You're not both. There's no reason to do both. You can't do both. He wants a big contract. Anybody that gives that guy a big contract is fucking idiots. I don't want a guy playing the outfield and then pitching like not a big deal and then going to play the outfield like it's not a big deal. I mean, bullshit. Uh, not for 162 days. And look where they are. Does California ever make the playoffs? No. He's such a great player. He's not a great player. He's a good pitcher and he can hit a little bit in a watered down league, but I don't. And then I hear these radio guys going, "Well, you wouldn't need two players. You'd be your outfielder and your pitcher." I mean, give me a break. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He's either an outfielder or a pitcher. What do you want? Do you need hitting or do you need pitching? If he's that good of a pitcher, you let him pitch. Why does every other pitcher need 5 days rest, but Otani doesn't? Really? Verlander needs rest. He's the best pitcher in the game. He pitches every 5th day. Somehow Otani doesn't need the rest? Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe that one. Like I believe that Jordan Love's a good quarterback for Green Bay. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, anything else? Game start in 5 minutes. Free play, Seattle. And the Jets tomorrow. You always got to go with the Jets. I think they've covered every week. Again, they beat Buffalo at home. They beat Philadelphia at home. Don't fuck with my Jets. All right. We'll start getting into looking at the standings and who needs what. That starts coming into play. The Philly-Dallas game is really critical for that. The loser is in a must-win because Philly's got a 1 or 2 game lead on Dallas already. Philly's only got 1 loss. So if Philly wins this game, Dallas will have like 3 losses. They lost to the Niners, and I don't know what else they did. But because they lost to Philly and the Niners, they're really 3 games back. Because if they tie, they lost the head-to-head. But, I mean, there's so many pathetic teams. How is the Bears GM still employed? Let me run the team. You'd be in the playoffs every year. I would get rid of Phil. I would either draft Bo Nix or Penix, or I don't know about Caleb. He wants to run too much. Or I'd go to Hartman and Van Dyke. Would be all set at quarterback for 10 years. And then I'd go to work on the defense. And I'd go to Georgia and I'd go, you're coming here. Utah, I'm going to go get 3 or 4 guys from them. And I'm going to have a Georgia-Utah defense. Hire the Georgia defensive coordinator to be the defensive coordinator. I want a 15 defense, and off we go. Maybe I bring in some Arizona defense and UCLA. They got the twin defensive tackles, UCLA, and they're like, they just wreak havoc. It's a strong defense UCLA has. Caleb Williams is going to have trouble against UCLA. Absolutely. Anyway, that's how I would do it. I would build the team. I'd get a coach. And if my coach went for it on 4th down in my own territory, he'd be fired. And I would have that conversation before I hired him. You go for 4th down in our territory, you're fired. Don't even. If you go for it, you're fired automatically. If you get it or not, you're gone. Do I want that? It wouldn't be headaches to me. I get more headaches. I get more headaches with the Romanian girls than I'm going to get in football. Football's easy. Football's a piece of cake because I've been handicapping it since 1975. I've been betting it since 1969. There's no headaches in that. I got it down to a science, just like I got the picking down. I don't have headaches picking this stuff. It's a piece of cake. It's the easiest thing I've ever done. It's easier than working in finance at Mercedes or GM or anywhere. This is far easier and far harder. This is the hardest thing you can do, and for me, it's a piece. I don't have one headache over it. Just when there's some turnovers or like the Texas game going, how the fuck did that go over? How the fuck did Ohio State go over with Rutgers? I mean, that's about it. But really, I don't have headaches in this. This is piece of cake. Like I said, I know what I would be. See, I know what I'm doing. So when the Penn State line went from 11 to 8.5, I didn't have a headache over it. It was an automatic take Penn State, lay the 2.5. It's 100% going to win. There was no doubt when that line dropped. Once I understood it didn't drop because my quarterback's not playing. Why the line dropped, I would like to meet the guy who made the bet to lower the line. Or I'd like to meet the bookie who lowered the line in Vegas to 8.5. I'd like to meet this guy and have a little coffee with them and laugh at him a lot, going, well, why don't you hire me to run it? You don't know what the fuck you're doing. That line should never have gone down. And if somebody made a big bet, I'd have left it at 11.5. I wouldn't have lowered it. But I'd like to meet the guy who made the bet. And I'll say, you don't know what you're doing, do you? You just bet against Penn State with Maryland? Wow. So I think next week we got Penn State and Michigan. Games at Penn State, I believe. Michigan for sure will be favored by, I would say, at least 10. And we will finally see if Michigan's a good team. We don't have any idea if Michigan's a good team. They haven't played anybody, and their cards are on the table. So you see the little bullshit passes they do. You see the defense going against what? Purdue's offense, going against Nebraska's offense, going against the best offense they played was UNLV. So I don't know who Michigan is at this point. After week 11, we have no idea who Michigan is. Are they that strong? I would not be surprised if Penn State beats them, especially if I can get over 14. Because all the idiots think Michigan's good without digging into realizing they haven't played anybody. I think I am gonna win $1 million and put it into gold. Well, that's the idea, Greg and John. You can't leave it in money because it's worthless. So Jenna needed money today, and so I sent her a RIA $100, and I think she says we'll meet in December, and I got to be careful because I'm going to meet Daria. Well, I don't know how long it's going to take her to get her passport, so I could meet Daria in January because she might not have her passport. Otherwise, I could just tell Jenna I can't meet Christmas week, and then, but I don't know if it'd be that late or not. We'll see, but. I'll meet one in December, one in January. I'm not worried. But it's right now it's waiting for Daria to get the pass. I don't even know if she applied for the passport. But and that's the thing with Jenna. She keeps things are expensive. She needs. I just, I try to explain it's in gold. We got to wait. I'm not cashing in the gold yet. As far as I can see, about January, everything will be zooming. Gold and silver will be going through the roof. So once the silver is so low, but once once they get rid of the COMEX, when gold goes, silver goes, and it'll end up being the reserve currency will end up being gold and silver or things tied to it. So it could be the BRICS gold and silver dollars will be the reserve currency. So theoretically, it's gold and silver. But at the end of the day, that's the only thing that can possibly keep its value, is because you can't print it. And that's the whole bottom line of the whole thing, is you can't print gold and silver. It comes out of the ground and that's it. And you just be careful you don't get the counterfeit. So that's why you don't buy it from a guy on Facebook or even eBay. You be careful. You buy it from stores that have the machine, and you ask them to test it the first time. And if you trust the store, if it's some kid, I go prove that it's real. But if it says Liberty 1 ounce and it looks gold, I'm going to trust it. But yeah, I can see where you've got to, put it on the machine. Go ahead, and it'll be fine. So that's the other thing. You want to make sure you're buying real gold. You don't want to think, well, I got 10 ounces and it's all counterfeit, and I just spent $20,000 on it. There's a lot of scams coming up because people are going broke and they're not working and they need money, and the money's losing the value. Then all these scammers come out. I keep getting this, oh, your thing came to the post office, or these girls, oh, I need the money. And you're like, fuck off. You're not real. You're not getting it. So that's what you got to be careful of. And you never give somebody you've never met money unless she gets on and you can see them visually. Once you meet them, it's a different story. But that's where we're headed from an economic standpoint, is the gold and the silver. Because that's why you can't print it. So as long as you make sure, but that's why you need physical. The ETF should be illegal because you don't own gold. You own a paper gold, which is helping to keep the price down. So it's totally illegal. It's totally a Ponzi scheme. You don't want to be in ETFs. The gold stocks are fine, but at the end of the day, the stock market's going to crash. So you don't really want to be in gold stocks thinking you have gold money or actual gold coins. You've got to hold the physical. So once you have it, they can't say it's worth. See, an attack on Wall Street, what did they say? Oh, you're 60,000 zero now. He doesn't know what happened. How did it become zero? What the fuck? Aren't you watching me? And that's the key. But if you have gold, nobody can come to you and say it's worthless. There's too much demand for it. It can't be worthless. The demand is huge. All the central banks, Russia and China, it's huge. So as long as there's demand, and that's why I keep showing you this. I can sell this if somebody wants to buy it. If nobody wants to buy it, I can't sell it. And that's what you have here. Does somebody want to buy this $5 euro or $5 bill? No, there's no demand for it. Nobody really wants it. What does everybody do? Well, I'll take this and put my money in the stock market, or put it in the bank in a CD, or I'll buy Bitcoin with it, or I'll buy gold and silver with it. People don't want to leave it here because it doesn't go up if you really look at it from going up in value, the paper dollar never goes up in value. It's impossible for it to go up in value. There's never demand for it. It's only used to get paid and buy things, right? You go to work, they pay you in paper, you take the paper and you pay your bills. Maybe you go on a vacation, or you buy gold and silver with it, or you buy shoes or clothes with it. It's just, that's what it is. It's a medium of exchange. It exchanges. You're buying things with it. That's what the dollar is. But the problem is you can't print it to zero. Then then nobody wants it, and they go, well, give us a new medium of exchange. And so that's why gold and silver, at the end of the day, are the medium of exchange. And as you heard Mark McGuire say, Nixon took us off in 71, and now we're back on the gold standard. We are, but nobody, just hasn't been formally said, but we are on the gold standard because our dollar's worthless. And that's really the bottom line. That's what you got to understand. Um, it's worthless. There's nothing. There's nothing there. Um, that's what these idiots don't understand. The Keynesians, that you can't print it, right? It loses value if you print it, and that's what the Russians and the Chinese and the BRICS countries understand. You got to have gold because you can't print the gold. That's why you have to have gold. And that's why they want gold for oil, because they realize they don't want paper dollars. They're worthless. So that's really the key to everything. You have the gold because you can't print it. I mean, let's get down to basics. You want to tell somebody, buy gold and silver, and oh no, I don't want to do it. And I think about that and I go, because they're not comfortable. People are creatures of comfort, right? You go on a date to get comfortable with the person. You meet them, you get comfortable, then you move on to the next stage in the phase 2 of dating, or whatever you want to call it, phase 2 of gambling. The first time you play poker, the first time you play craps, you're not comfortable. First time you're with the girl, you're not comfortable. And so you're getting comfortable. So once you're comfortable, then you got the experience, off you go. Well, in gold and silver, to tell people to go into gold and silver, they're not comfortable. They haven't learned about it. Nobody told them about it. So they're very uncomfortable going into it. So you got to get them comfortable that gold and silver is the way to go, and people won't understand that. And that's really what you're trying to do. So that's why you go into gold and silver, because they can't print it. You can't wake up and it's worth zero. That's the biggest key about it. I keep thinking I've only been on an hour and a half. I forgot I was on a half hour before. I came on about 11. I'll go a few more minutes and see what happens. Anyway, so that's really what it is. So when I say, like, get off the Titanic, get on the gold boat, because the Titanic's sinking, because it's a dollar that's been printed too much, and the water's coming in and wiping it out. And that's really what's happening. And that's why I get aggressive on these people who don't know what they're talking about. Buy stocks, buy that. They don't see that the dollar's worth this. They also assume that the dollar can be printed to death, and that's okay. They don't get that part. That's why these guys aren't economists, they're salesmen. And what do they try to do? Sell you stocks. They don't try to put you in gold and silver. Oh, plan for your retirement. Oh, go buy stocks that give a dividend. There won't be any money. The money's gone. You're missing the basic point of my retirement. There won't be money. There won't be stocks with dividends. Well, that won't go away. Well, okay, it'll go away because the dollar will go away and it will be replaced. So what good is the stock with the dividend until it gets replaced by the gold and whatever the stock is? And that's the thing. So that's really what it's going to be, the headache. What's a Toyota Camry going to sell for in gold? Because it's not going to sell for anything in dollars, because the dollar won't be there, because you're printing it to zero. It's like Venezuela. What is their prices? So I'll do some checking on that. But basically, they're on their eighth dollar. It's inflated to zero. They have no value. They have huge inflation, huge living condition problems, financial problems. They have oil, but if their dollar's no good, so they keep printing their dollar, but why don't they go to gold? I mean, how hard is it? So this is the problem. When you have bad coaches or bad economists running the show, you get failure, right? Why are the Bears bad? They have a terrible GM. Why do they have a terrible GM? Because whoever's picking the GM and the coach doesn't know what they're doing. You've got the wrong person in charge. Why do all these countries go under? Because they have Keynesians in charge who believe in printing the money and not buying gold. And they don't see that the gold is what's critical. That's what makes it. But Russia, China sees it. And it's just like a good football team. Once they see what it is, then they get, then they realize why do I have Jordan Love? Who drafted him? And then why is he's my starting quarterback and he sucks? Well, then I love the excuses. Well, it's his first year. Let's give him time. Okay, it's his second year. Well, let's give him time. It's his fifth year. Let's give him time. And basically, they've just lost 4 or 5 years. Then they got to get a new quarterback and hope they get a Penix or a Hartman or a Van Dyke who's available, which this is going to be a huge class. So basically, that's what you gotta look for. And right now, they don't know what they're doing, but the people don't understand it. So people don't understand the economics. They don't understand the dollars, what the problem is, because they've overprinted. If you don't understand that problem, you can't find a solution. Oh, the solution is the problem is prices are up, so we'll lower prices by raising interest rates. That'll keep people from spending. That's not an answer. That just creates more chaos because people will have less money to buy. You're making people worse off than better off. What are you doing? And that's really the problem. You look for a solution, but you don't know what the problem is, so it's a bad solution. That's really that's why you go to gold. So yeah, we're all waiting. When's gold going to go up and when it is, and it's still fixed. And we know that. We know it's still price fixed. So we got to be careful. And when will it go up? It'll go up. And we just have to understand that and just wait for it. So anyway, that's economics. That's life. You got to understand the girl. You want to date a girl or a boy if you're a girl, and you've got to understand the game. Like I said, Irina's sitting there and she doesn't want to meet. She'll meet me in a park with the baby for an hour, and that's it. And then she blames the husband. So I understand the game. That's why that's why I got girlfriends, because she's not a girlfriend. She's somebody I care for, and I know she's in trouble because she apparently is controlled by this guy, or he's mafia or something. But that's the game. And so I got the game with Jenna, and I pretty much understand the game with Daria. Daria, I don't hear from for a couple days, and it always like, what are you doing? And so I never know if she's with somebody else, or she gets drunk and doesn't contact me, or she's just busy with the kids and doesn't. And so I never know where are you that you can't text, or maybe it's not that you can't text me. She's just busy and doesn't. This is part of the game that I got to meet her to understand. Chicago scored 7-0. Okay. Chicago's playing New Orleans. Okay. I don't care. I'll find scores later, Greg or John. So anyway, so you've got to understand the game: poker, craps, economics, football. Then you can, I understood Penn State, Maryland. So when the line dropped, I could bet Penn State. If you don't understand, you might have bet Maryland going, oh, somebody knows something, and it drove the line down. I'm going to take Maryland. And you would have lost because you didn't understand. And I didn't understand why the line went down, but I liked that it did. It gave me a Penn State minus 2.5 instead of 5. So it was perfect. Anyway, that's what's going on. So always, if you understand everything and you learn it and you know what's going on when they're bullshitting. So if we understand the dollar's being printed to zero, we realize it's not prices going up. They're printing the dollar to zero. And then if we understand where the market, we don't have to pay the additional prices, right? We can just substitute A for B. If Coke goes up, we can buy Faygo, or if Oreos go up, we can buy the store brand Oreos, or whatever we want to do. There's substitute. We just substitute it, and we don't need to buy it. And then the price will come down because they can't sell it, because we understand that's business. So we buy gold and silver because they can't print it. Basically, it'll always hold its value because there's demand, and there's demand because they can't print it. It all washes together. You can't print it because it's gold. comes out of the ground, whatever it is, and that's the whole point to it. So that's why it goes up in value. That's why it's demanded, and the price is low. Everybody knows the price is much higher. So you just be patient. You know it's the right move to buy the gold and silver. You know right now you're just waiting for the price, and you just put it away in your safe. You keep enough money out so you don't have to spend your gold, and off you go. And really, that's really it. So that's what you're trying to do with that. So understand that, and then you won't. When's it going to go up? I know it's going to go up, and I know it's being fought because the people in money don't want to give up the money. So now it's a game, right? I have money and I don't have gold, and I don't want the money to go to zero. So I'm going to fight you because you have gold and you want gold to go up. But if gold goes up, my money goes to zero. So all the people with money are fighting it. But we got Russia and China on our side. So strange bedfellows, they say. Anyway, that's what's going on. So again, I'm trying to understand Daria, why she doesn't text me every day. It's great when she does. I text her every day. It takes 2 seconds. Hi, have a nice day. I don't really get it. But again, I'm home, and I don't know what's going on. I know she works. It's a long day for her. I know she's got to do homework with her daughter. So I'm not really clear on why she doesn't have a minute. But you watch, her rent's due coming up like the middle of the month. So then then I'm sure I'll hear from her. But I don't get Social Security till next Monday. So she's not getting her rent till next Monday, which is the 13th. So it's before the 15th. So she should be okay. And like Jenna needed money, I gave her a little bit down. But it's tough because not that I don't have the money, but I'm waiting, and I don't want to cash in the gold. So it's keeping my money until the gold goes up before I cash it in. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Good luck today. It's 1:20, and again, free play Seattle. One lot going. And watch your quarterbacks. But again, we got KC in already, so that's good. So have a good day. Good luck, everybody. I hope you win, and then you can go buy your gold. All right. Take care. www.teaserking.com. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll review all the college and pro scores and what happened and key things that we look for. And then we'll start looking ahead to next week, and then whatever happens with gold and economics that we can talk about. All right. Take care, everybody.